Are you tired of feeling like a doormat? Like people just walk all over you, ignoring your boundaries and dismissing your feelings? It's frustrating, it's exhausting, and honestly, it's downright disrespectful. But here's the good news, you don't have to put up with it anymore. This is your life, your time, your energy, and you deserve to be treated with respect. Today, we're diving deep into some powerful, maybe even a little unexpected, strategies to handle those disrespectful people who seem to think the world revolves around them. These aren't about stooping to their level or getting into petty arguments. This is about reclaiming your power, setting clear boundaries, and walking through life with the confidence and self-respect you deserve. 1. The power of the silent stare. Imagine this, you're in a conversation, and someone begins interrupting you, making snide remarks, or generally acting as if you're invisible. Your initial instinct might be to fight back, to defend yourself, to get loud and assert your position. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful things you can do in such moments is, absolutely nothing? That's right, embrace the silent stare. It's not about ignoring the situation or pretending it doesn't matter, it's about responding with calm control. When someone disrespects you, simply meet their gaze. Look them in the eyes, and don't change your expression. No anger, no frustration, just a steady, unwavering stare. At first, this might feel uncomfortable. Your body might want to fidget, your mind might urge you to speak up or defend yourself. But trust me, this silence is one of the most effective and powerful responses you can have. Why? The psychology behind the silent stare. Disrespectful people often thrive on drama. They want a reaction from you, they want to see you flustered, angry, or defensive. Their power comes from disrupting your peace, from seeing you lose your composure. But when you respond with calm, unflinching silence, it throws them completely off balance. They're expecting noise, confrontation, or a heated argument, but instead, they get nothing. It's like holding up a mirror to their own behavior. Most people, deep down, don't want to face their own rudeness or aggression. They may not even realize the effect they're having, but when they're met with the silence of someone who isn't engaging with their negativity, it forces them to reconsider their actions. It's a subtle, yet incredibly powerful form of resistance. Think of the silent stare as a silent, no, you're not engaging in their drama, you're not giving them the satisfaction of a reaction. You're simply communicating, I see you, and I'm not impressed. This act of restraint is a display of power, not weakness. It says that you have control over your emotions, and you will not be provoked by petty behavior. The power of non-reaction. There's a deeper strength in non-reaction. In today's world, it's easy to get swept up in the need to defend ourselves, to protect our reputation, or to prove that we're right. But sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is not to react at all. By embracing the silent stare, you assert that you don't need validation or approval from anyone, least of all someone who's treating you with disrespect. It's a quiet form of power. It doesn't escalate the situation, it doesn't draw more attention to the conflict, and it doesn't allow the other person to dictate your emotional state. Instead, it shows that you are above the petty exchanges. You choose when and where to engage, and when to remain calm, centered, and above the fray. A personal story. I'll never forget a particular situation in a work meeting. I had a colleague who had the habit of constantly interrupting me. Every time I tried to speak, he'd talk over me, dismiss my ideas as irrelevant, or simply act as though I wasn't even there. It was frustrating, and for a while, I tried to engage with him, argue, reason, defend myself. But the more I tried, the worse it got. The cycle was never ending. Then one day, I decided to try something different. The next time he started interrupting me, I simply stopped talking. I looked him directly in the eyes, no words, no emotion, just a steady, calm gaze. I waited. The room fell completely silent. I didn't blink, didn't shift, just held his gaze. He was caught off guard. He stammered, looked away, and for the rest of the meeting, his behavior completely changed. He gave me space to speak, listened attentively, and treated me with a newfound respect. It wasn't about making him feel bad, it was about showing him that I wouldn't tolerate his behavior. And in doing so, I reclaimed control of the interaction. More than a power move. The silent stare is more than just a tactic to deal with others, it's a reminder of your own internal strength. It's about controlling your reactions, even when everything around you is trying to provoke a response. It's about choosing to stay grounded and not allowing someone else's negativity to disturb your inner peace. This form of non-reaction doesn't mean you're weak or passive. Quite the opposite, it shows incredible self-discipline. You don't have to match negativity with negativity. You don't have to prove anything. Your strength lies in your ability to stay centered, no matter what's going on around you. It's a silent but powerful statement: I am in control of myself, and I will not let you disturb my peace. In a world that's often loud and combative, the silent stare offers a quiet strength that commands attention, without saying a word. 2. Silence is golden. Here's another powerful secret weapon: silence. It might seem simple, but sometimes, the most powerful response you can give is no response at all. I know what you're thinking, but if I don't fight back, I'll look weak. They'll think they won. The truth is, true strength isn't about shouting the loudest, or getting the last word in. Sometimes, it's about knowing when to walk away, when to conserve your energy, and when to simply refuse to engage with negativity. Disrespectful people often thrive on attention. They want to draw you into their drama, to provoke you, to make you react so they can feed off your energy. When you refuse to engage, when you choose silence over confrontation, you're cutting off their source of power. You're saying, your words are not worth my time or attention. Why silence works. So why does silence have such an incredible impact? First, it's disarming. When someone expects a response, especially an emotional one, and they receive nothing, it throws them off balance. They are left with their own words, their own actions, and nowhere to project their negativity. In many situations, silence forces the other person to confront their own behavior. There are no distractions, no arguments, no justifications. They must face the fact that you didn't take the bait, that their attempts to provoke you have failed. It's a subtle yet powerful message: I am not interested in engaging with your drama. And if they have any self-awareness at all, it may prompt them to reflect on their actions, especially if you've shown, through silence, that their behavior is beneath your attention. On your side, silence provides space for you to maintain your inner peace. Rather than becoming embroiled in someone else's negativity, you preserve your own energy and avoid being pulled into an emotional whirlwind. You choose tranquility over chaos, and in doing so, you stay centered and in control. A real-life example. I'll never forget a particular situation with a friend who used to make backhanded compliments and subtle digs, disguised as jokes. She'd say things that were hurtful but always covered them with a laugh, as if to dismiss the sting. At first, I'd try to brush it off, laugh along, or defend myself. But over time, it became emotionally exhausting. It felt like a constant drain on my energy. One day, after a particularly sharp remark, I decided to do something different. Instead of laughing it off or reacting, I simply smiled and said nothing. I didn't engage with the comment, I didn't argue, I just remained silent. The look on her face was priceless. She was clearly thrown off. She expected me to either get upset or try to explain myself. But instead, I left her with nothing to feed off. From that moment on, she never attempted that tactic with me again. The deeper message. Choosing silence is ultimately about choosing yourself. It's a reflection of your self-respect, your ability to maintain boundaries, and your refusal to let someone else's negativity govern your emotional state. By not reacting, you take control of the situation. You assert that your peace of mind is more important than the need to prove a point, to argue, or to defend yourself. It's also about valuing your energy. Every time you engage with negativity, you give a piece of yourself away. When you choose silence, you conserve that energy. Instead of wasting it on people who don't deserve your time or attention, you protect your emotional well-being, allowing yourself to focus on what truly matters. Silence doesn't mean submission, it's a powerful tool for maintaining your integrity and self-control. It's the wisdom to know that not everything requires a response. Sometimes, the best way to show strength is to stand firm in your silence and walk away from the noise. In a world that often feels chaotic and confrontational, choosing silence is an act of strength. It's a conscious decision to protect your peace, honor your worth, and not allow others to drag you into their drama. And in doing so, you take back your power. 3. Stop explaining yourself. How many times have you made a decision, only to be bombarded with questions and criticisms? Why would you do that? Why didn't you choose this instead? It's as if people feel entitled to dissect your every choice and offer their unsolicited opinions. Here's the truth, you don't owe anyone an explanation for how you live your life. Your choices are yours, and yours alone. You don't have to justify your decisions to anyone, regardless of their opinions or feelings. The psychology of entitlement. People who question your choices often do so because they feel threatened by your independence. Maybe you're taking risks they aren't willing to take, or perhaps your choices challenge their worldview. This discomfort often stems from their own insecurities and fear of stepping outside their comfort zone. When people ask, "Why would you do that?" they're not always seeking understanding, they might just be projecting their own doubts and fears. It's less about you and more about their own limitations or inability to embrace the uncertainty you're facing. Reclaim your autonomy. When you stop explaining yourself, you're taking back control of your life. You're saying, "I trust my own judgment, and I don't need your approval." This simple shift can be incredibly empowering, especially if you're used to seeking validation from others. By owning your decisions and standing firm in them, you reclaim your sense of autonomy and strengthen your self-confidence. This doesn't mean being rude or dismissive, but rather not feeling obligated to defend your choices. You have the right to live according to your own values and needs without the need to justify yourself to others constantly. My experience, a personal story. When I made the decision to quit my stable job to pursue my passion, I was met with a chorus of disapproval. "Are you crazy? How will you make money? That's too risky." At first, I tried to explain myself, to justify my decision, to calm their concerns, but I quickly realized it was a waste of energy. No matter how much I tried to explain, their concerns didn't change. They were simply uncomfortable with my choice. So, I started responding with a simple, "because I wanted to." And you know what? People eventually stopped asking. The more I stopped explaining myself, the more I freed myself from their opinions, and I started to live on my own terms. I began to realize that I didn't owe anyone a detailed explanation of why I was choosing to pursue my dreams. The liberation of not explaining. When you stop justifying your actions, you free yourself from the weight of other people's expectations. You give yourself permission to live authentically, without the need for constant approval. This doesn't mean being reckless or indifferent to the opinions of others, but rather it's about realizing that you are the ultimate authority on your life. You trust your instincts, your choices, and your path. Every time you stop explaining, you reinforce your belief in your own judgment. It's not about being dismissive of others, it's about recognizing that your decisions don't need external validation to be valid. The more you embrace this mindset, the more liberated you will feel. Owning your choices. Stop explaining yourself. Stop seeking permission or approval from others. Your life is yours to live, and the only person who truly understands your motivations, values, and decisions is you. When you own your choices without feeling the need to justify them, you unlock a sense of peace and confidence that's truly empowering. By letting go of the need for constant validation, you free yourself to pursue your goals, take risks, and live authentically. You are in control, and you don't have to answer to anyone but yourself. 4. Keep your distance. Sometimes, the best way to handle disrespectful people is to simply create some distance. This doesn't mean you have to cut them out of your life completely, but it does mean being mindful of how much time and energy you invest in the relationship. Protecting your energy. Think of your life as a garden. You wouldn't let weeds choke out your beautiful flowers, would you? The same goes for relationships. If someone is constantly draining your energy, bringing you down, or disrespecting your boundaries, it's okay to step back and give yourself some space. Not all relationships are worth keeping close. Sometimes, the best way to preserve your peace and well-being is by creating a healthy distance. This gives you the chance to reset, recalibrate, and assess whether the relationship is truly serving your growth or holding you back. Clarity and self-preservation. Creating distance allows you to see the relationship more objectively. It gives you the space to assess whether this person or connection is still in alignment with your values. Sometimes, it's only when you step back that you gain the clarity to see things for what they really are. Distance allows you to evaluate if this relationship is truly worth investing in or if it's time to move on. Creating space doesn't always have to be permanent, but it's an essential tool for self-preservation. By stepping away, even temporarily, you give yourself the space to think, reflect, and decide how you want to proceed. My story, a lesson in distance. I once had a friend who was constantly criticizing me, making snide remarks, and generally making me feel bad about myself. At first, I tried to brush it off, but it started to take a toll on my self-esteem. The negative energy was wearing me down, and I realized I was investing too much time and emotion in a friendship that wasn't serving me well. Eventually, I decided to create some distance. I stopped initiating plans, began seeing her less often, and reduced the emotional energy I spent on the relationship. Slowly, the friendship faded away. And you know what? I felt so much lighter and happier without that negativity in my life. Distance allowed me to heal, and the space I gave myself was one of the best decisions I made. Overcoming guilt. It's natural to feel guilty about distancing yourself from someone, especially if you've known them for a long time. You may feel like you're betraying them, or that you owe them more of your time. But remember, you're not obligated to maintain relationships that harm your mental or emotional health. Prioritizing your well-being is not selfish, it's essential. By protecting your energy and setting boundaries, you're choosing to surround yourself with people who uplift and support you. Relationships that bring negativity or drain your energy don't deserve your constant investment. Letting go of them is an act of self-care and self-love. The power of space. Sometimes, the healthiest thing you can do for yourself is to create some distance between you and a person or situation that is not serving you. It gives you the space to reflect, preserve your energy, and protect your peace. Distance doesn't mean cutting ties completely, it just means choosing where to invest your time, energy, and emotions more wisely. Prioritize your well-being, and don't feel guilty for stepping back when necessary. 5. Hold your head high. It might seem like a small gesture, but holding your head high can be incredibly powerful. When faced with disrespect, it's easy to want to shrink away, to let the negative energy around you diminish your presence. But instead of shrinking, resist that urge. Stand tall, pull your shoulders back, and hold your head high. The power of confidence. Confidence is like an invisible shield that protects you from the slings and arrows of others' negativity. When you carry yourself with confidence, it sends a message to the world: I know my worth, and I won't tolerate disrespect. You don't have to say anything, just the way you present yourself speaks volumes. Confidence shows that you are grounded in who you are, and you will not allow others to knock you down. This posture doesn't just protect you physically, it creates a force field around your emotional state. Disrespectful comments, insults, or rude behavior bounce off because your confidence has already set the boundary. You show others that their attempts to undermine you won't succeed, and they are not welcome. Disrupting the narrative. Disrespectful people often target those they perceive as weak or insecure. They look for individuals who they believe will be easy to undermine or manipulate. When you hold your head high, you disrupt that narrative entirely. You show them that their words and actions don't have the power to diminish you. People can often sense vulnerability or insecurity, and disrespect tends to thrive in environments where confidence is lacking. By carrying yourself with self-assurance, you send a clear message that you are not a target for mistreatment. You refuse to be treated as less than you are. A personal anecdote. I used to be incredibly self-conscious, always worried about what others thought of me. It wasn't that I wanted to fit in, I just didn't want to be judged or ridiculed. I often found myself shrinking away in the face of criticism, feeling as though I had to apologize for simply being myself. But over time, as I worked on my self-esteem, I began to notice a shift in how people treated me. The more I embraced my worth and stood tall, the less people tried to disrespect me. It was as if my confidence acted like a force field, repelling negativity and attracting respect. And here's the thing. This didn't mean that people stopped disagreeing with me or criticizing me, it meant that their attempts to belittle me didn't get through. I learned how to stand my ground, how to hold my head high, and in turn, people learned to treat me with more respect. The deeper meaning. Holding your head high is about more than just your physical posture. It's a reflection of the inner strength and self-assurance you've cultivated over time. It's about knowing your value and having the courage to walk through the world unapologetically. When you hold your head high, you are affirming that no matter what happens, no one has the power to take away your dignity or self-worth. It's not about arrogance, it's about self-respect. It's about acknowledging that you have something to offer, that your voice matters, and that you deserve respect. You're showing the world that you will not let anyone dim your light or reduce your importance. The quiet power of confidence. Holding your head high isn't just a physical act, it's a mindset, a declaration that you are worthy of respect. It's about claiming your space in the world with pride, knowing that no one can define you or your worth except yourself. When you stand tall with confidence, you not only protect yourself from negativity, but you also send out a powerful signal that you're not someone to be taken lightly. Life is too short to waste on people who don't value you. In the grand scheme of things, life is incredibly short. Time moves swiftly, and the moments we have are far too precious to waste on relationships or situations that don't uplift us. Yet so often, we find ourselves investing time and energy into people who don't appreciate us or treat us with the respect we deserve. The power of choice. The empowering truth is that you have the power to choose who you allow into your life. This may seem like a small thing, but it's actually one of the most transformative realizations you can have. You are not bound by obligation or societal expectations to keep people in your life who don't serve you in positive ways. You get to decide. Choosing who to surround yourself with isn't just about selecting friends or family members, it's also about how you allow people to treat you. Your boundaries are the foundation of how you define the level of respect, love, and care you expect in any relationship. If someone disrespects your boundaries, violates your trust, or consistently brings negativity into your life, you have the right to walk away. Setting boundaries, an act of self-respect. Setting boundaries isn't a form of selfishness, it's an act of self-respect. When you allow people to overstep your boundaries, you send a message to yourself that you aren't worth protecting. But when you stand firm and set clear, healthy boundaries, you are telling yourself, and the world, that you value yourself enough to guard your peace, your energy, and your time. Boundaries don't need to be harsh or confrontational. They are simply guidelines you set for how you wish to be treated. Whether it's choosing not to engage in toxic conversations, limiting your time with negative people, or not tolerating disrespect, boundaries are a reflection of your inner strength and self-love. They remind you that you deserve to be treated with dignity and kindness. Walking away, a symbol of empowerment. Sometimes, the most empowering thing you can do is walk away from a situation or a person who doesn't add value to your life. This doesn't mean walking away in anger or resentment, it means walking away for your own peace of mind and emotional well-being. Walking away is not failure, it's strength. It's acknowledging that you are worthy of relationships that bring positivity and respect into your life, and that you will no longer settle for anything less. It's an act of courage, because sometimes, walking away means stepping into the unknown. But trust that when you make room by letting go of what doesn't serve you, you open up space for new connections, opportunities, and growth. The world is waiting for you to shine. When you stand tall and honor your worth, you begin to attract people who align with your values. You become magnetic to those who are on a similar journey of growth, self-respect, and mutual support. The people who genuinely care about you will come into your life, and the relationships you build with them will be nourishing, fulfilling, and empowering. Remember, the world is waiting for you to shine, but you can't shine if you're dimming yourself to fit into spaces that don't honor your light. Choose to let go of anything or anyone that doesn't serve your growth. You are the architect of your life. At the end of the day, the life you create is yours and yours alone. You are the architect, the one who designs, builds, and shapes your own path. Every decision you make, every relationship you nurture, and every belief you hold contributes to the structure of your life. In a world full of distractions, pressures, and outside influences, it's easy to forget just how much control you truly have. But remember, you hold the blueprint for your life, and it's up to you to build it in a way that honors your worth and aligns with your deepest values. The power of choice. One of the most profound aspects of being the architect of your life is the power of choice. Every day, you make choices, big and small, that ultimately shape your experiences. Whether it's the career path you follow, the people you allow into your life, or the way you respond to challenges, each decision is a brick in the foundation of your future. By consciously choosing what's best for you, you are actively designing the life you want to live. Your choices define who you are, what you stand for, and the kind of energy you want to attract. The people you surround yourself with play an especially important role in this process. They influence your mindset, your emotional state, and the way you perceive the world. So, make sure you're surrounding yourself with those who support and uplift you, those who see your potential and encourage your growth. Protecting your energy. When you recognize that you are the architect of your life, you begin to understand that your time and energy are valuable resources. Not everyone deserves access to them. This means learning to set boundaries, prioritize your well-being, and protect your emotional space. It's easy to get caught up in trying to please others or maintain relationships out of obligation, but when you do this at the expense of your own happiness and peace of mind, you're allowing others to dictate the flow of your life. Relationships should be reciprocal, both giving and receiving positive energy. If you find that certain people or situations consistently drain you or diminish your sense of self-worth, it's time to reevaluate whether they truly belong in your life. Setting boundaries isn't just about saying no to others, it's about saying yes to yourself. By creating space for your own needs, desires, and growth, you honor who you are and take control of your life's direction. Walking away as an act of strength. One of the most powerful things you